I see the needs of the school being met. Are there some that I perceive as a need not being met? Yeah, Jim. But I'm not going to say no to everything good because of one thing that I would like to see different.
Yeah, I honestly feel like the school board, they did their due diligence in gathering data, assessing, listening to the community, doing surveys, and then that's what they really presented to us. I thought it was interesting when Justin, the question was raised, so what's the plan B? And he said, there's not a plan B. We went through every single thing that you guys identified and what we know, and that's what we've addressed. And that was a resounding, I heard that, because they've really done their due diligence in what is needed here.
Right, and here's the urgent needs. I don't know if we want to go through that, but that's exactly what they were targeting. Is the first one was getting rid of the modulars. They're well past their useful life. After 20 years, elementary classrooms are undersized for the number of students. The gym is overbooked. I think we hit that one. It's used for everything. Plus the entry is too small. Not enough bathrooms and no room for girls wrestling. I guess one thing that we didn't talk about, and if you guys want to talk about it, is the addition that they're looking at for onto the ag shop or the CTAE building. So these are skilled jobs, are in demand in our region, and you guys are all welders and woods and all the things. Oh, you're not a welder?
My daughter's a state champion welder.
Yes, I was gonna say Avery Davies is definitely welder.
I feel like obviously that's the way that we have a pipeline for our kids to, if they want to still go out and get additional experience, but then come back. The bottom line for me too is we grow really great kids here. And what's the pipeline and what's the opportunity for saying, when you're ready, come back. We have a really wonderful school for, that helped you grow up to. And especially from the ag perspective, I mean, we are an ag community. And so fostering that learning environment for the kids in that space it's always a priority.
You see more and more of the kids going into the tech schools, and going down Island State, maybe not so much into the four universities, four-year university schools, and a lot more of these kind of tech careers, the plumbing and the woodworking and the welding and them kind of classes may be more beneficial for them, and they can find some. And if not, it's just, electrician work like that. There's some things that might be more beneficial for them, just to have a background in it. It comes down to, are they ready to, to apply it.
Right.
We can build a building, that's great, let's apply it.
Absolutely.
Let's rock and roll and build.
Yeah, because right now the classroom up in the ag shop is it's way smaller than this room that we're in right now, and we're expected to teach 15 kids at the same time. There's literally no room up there, and
You wouldn't want to be in close quarters with me running the torch.
that was somebody had said that, and then also with the dust with the woods and things like that when you're welding. My daughter had brought up the fact that have one person welding over here and somebody very close on, and if they're not wearing safety glasses, they could look straight at it. So
or the woodworking materials are close. I've heard that too, and the sparks are coming off that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing we did not talk about is on the original elementary that there's only one stairway to and from the second level, which is a huge safety concern. I guess if you guys want to expand on that.
Weren't they talking about repurposing that mainly as office space then?
On the second level?
On the second level.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a great cost savings if we don't need that space for classrooms, versus having a bunch of students up there. So maybe we'd have less total people up there in the event of an emergency that would need to escape down a single stairwell.
I do believe that there's adding another, adding another escape or another. I don't know if it's.
If they pin down whether that's
I don't know if that's an elevator or if that's another
Stairwell.
I don't know. I think it's I'm pretty sure the stairwell is on there. Maybe I'm wrong.
In the initial plans, they did say adding a second stairwell and then a lift on the stairs
Oh, okay.
to make it ADA accessible
Okay.
for the class or for whatever that space is used for.
And it needs to be addressed, the accessibility. I mean, I know that's what prompted a lot of this conversation is the ADA accessibility. And I think that was smart how they are using that to the advantage of this remodel, because the structure of that school is still really good. I mean, they say it's in really good shape, and there's a lot of people that have wonderful memories there too. That, you know, again, another iconic space in the school, and they don't want to see it altered in too much way because it's really not necessary, but it isn't conducive for the kids, especially kids that need it for accessibility. And from the safety perspective. And so if they're using it for admin offices, because just the size of the classrooms up there is pretty small too. So I think that seemed really logical.
So how do you explain, and I know when I was on the board, there was a lot of people that asked me, said, you know, when I went to school 30, 40 years ago, we had 25, 30 kids in a classroom. One teacher, one classroom. Now all of a sudden they got 15 kids in a classroom. How come in a room? How do you explain that to them?
Well, okay, wait, hold on. But so I do alumni, so I see the numbers, and there are some, especially in the 70s, there are some very big classes, and they are quite a bit bigger than what we're graduating now. I was also in a class of, we graduated 50. I did not go to elementary here, but they're right, we did that. But I'm also told, we don't have a teacher here, gosh darn it.
Because it's tough to explain to them how, you know, schools changed a lot.
School has changed a lot.
And unless you've been there, it's hard to explain to them that it's way different.
And honestly, that's why I would encourage them to go on those tours, or to go, you know, when they have the opportunities for that, so they can actually see what we're talking about and what it's demanding now.
Yeah, and there's so much more supplies in the classes now. I don't think in the 70s they had access to the resources that we have now, and what and a lot of our teachers, you know, I'm sure they buy their own supplies, but you know, they use those every year, and so yeah, it's going to take up room in their classroom, but they also want access to that at any time, right? So I know that's why a lot of it's in there, but it sounds like they would have the availability to put that on the second floor, like that would be more for storage if we needed to. But I think these new classrooms, how significantly bigger they are, the 12 classrooms right here, that maybe they wouldn't need that storage. I don't know. I'm a speech therapist, but we're usually pushed in the closet for our therapy, so I don't really know.
and you know, kids are bigger.
Yeah. Well, the desks are bigger, the chairs are bigger.
A little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's tough to explain to everyone. You know, and that was a question that was always, you know, why do you bigger? Why do you bigger? Well, it's crowded in them. I mean, go look at it. You know, 10, 15 kids is crowded. Where we used to have 20, 25. It's crowded in there. I don't know what shrunk, but it is. It's crowded in there.
Well, and then the lunchroom, right now they said that they can seat just a little over 100. And in the new one, it'll be 250 I think that's what they thought, 250 people could comfortably be in there eating at the same time.
But I mean, I think to address that though, it's can you do it? Can you get 25? Oh yeah, you could probably pack 35 in there. But what's the most ideal scenario for learning? And if you're not bumping elbows with people every second, or you're bumping them every time you try to bend over and pick up a pencil you dropped, that's probably better, right? Especially for the younger kids. And I've never built anything that at the end of it I look back and went, man, I wish I made that smaller. You know, if we can have it the way we want it, I like the proposal of bigger classrooms, you know, for that reason. I think it's the most ideal setting we could try to get the kids.
And it sounded like it would, as far as that bigger space, the cafeteria area for the lunchroom, it would maximize, it would cut down on all the lunch time that they have, so they could do like one or two coordinated lunch times. Wasn't that what they said as well? Because now they're doing them from like 11 to 12:30, I think. I don't remember for sure on the exact time, but several lunches, which I would think would be extensive coordination. It's more now. They've got more time, or not. I'm not saying that right.
They have to juggle less groups
Exactly.
through one
yes,
space.
because they've got
One
more
space,
space.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because the kids were talking about how on Fridays, high school eats with some classes in the elementary, and there literally is not enough room for the high school when they get over there. So they're sitting in there's tables at the red zone, but then the overflow are having to sit like on the benches clear on the outside. So most of the kids, when they see that they have to sit there, then they just go somewhere else. They come downtown or something else because there's just not enough room for them. So, the other thing we haven't talked about is it'll be a larger weight room. Thoughts on that?
Great. I mean, I've only been through the weight room to get lights and stuff for different community plays and what have
It's
you.
an obstacle course.
It's pretty tight in there.
Yeah.
And athletics aren't everything. I mean, very few kids that come through Hemingford are probably going pro in sports, but they're very important. I mean, they teach you a lot of good life skills.
I hate that terminology because you know what? If you want to say that thing, then why we do math and science. We've never had an astronaut either.
Yeah.
If you're gonna use that terminology, that's a bad take.
Okay.
Well, if you're gonna go the professional route, that is so many. How many kids have had athletic scholarships? A lot.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like I think it's needed. I wasn't using that as a point against. I was using it as a point for, and I hear you. But like strength and conditioning are very important in success in sports, and if we're not pouring resources into that, we're kind of telling our coaches and our players what we expect out of them, and if we're willing to put the resources into it, we're supporting them in what they want to pursue. Yeah.
And it's good for mental health.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
big time.
And honestly, owning a fitness center downtown, I'm watching all the kids that come in, and this does not. I mean, I think it's great that they have more opportunities for learning safe lifting techniques, and I mean, it's always going to be good to have access in one way or the other, whether it's through the school, whether it's through the community. I think it's just an added benefit.
The kids that lift most are the ones that never have injuries. Always. You can just go down through the lines every year, and I can tell you the kids that are injured, and then probably, and there's always the ones that have a slip here and there, but 99% of the times, there's the ones that, injuries will follow the lines of who are the ones in the weight rooms all summer long who weren't.
And weight room's a good life skill too. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
That really sets you up, training you how to take care of yourself and prevent illness and injury, and that's not just to get ready for sports thing. That's every single person can benefit from being in weight room or gym or what have you. So
Yeah. The kids that I see going religiously to the body shop, it's absolutely for their mental health too. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah, well, and I just love the fact that this plan puts everything under one roof. We haven't really touched on that fact that, the modulars are all off on their own. And you were talking earlier about the roof and how we needed, and I'm sure that is going to be addressed with this.
Because our school's been, put together how many different times. We've added, and then we've added, and we've added, and we've added how many different, buildings we've added to it. So our roof lines do not all match. And that gets to be a problem when you have snow, rain, and drainage issues. So I know they've had troubles in the past with drainage issues and where things drain and don't drain, and sometimes things don't go the right directions. And so getting the roof lines to match up, I'm sure would be a huge benefit, to get it done right.
and probably for safety too, if ice builds up from that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, even you have that ice and that between the big gym and then the elementary. That's
Yes.
always becomes a snow trap and
Yeah.
ice rink in between there.
Definitely.
And ice come off the top of that building is always never good. So
Well, and the safety from, just the times we're in, I think having a contiguous building just increases the safety for our kids.
well, it's the tough thing if you are the person that's to ring the doorbell and then who's coming in every
Yes.
5 seconds, who's coming in this time, who's coming in next, who's coming in, and you're constantly ringing the bell all day long for somebody to come in and out all day long.
Well, and then the modular don't even have the door, it's just knock.
Yeah.
knock, knock, knock,
It's
yes.
tough to keep, security
And then what if something happened over and in the modulars? I'm sure. I mean, how many years that they've been there? I'm sure something has bad happened, and they couldn't get help and stuff. So yeah, that part of it too.
What about, aren't they talking about moving the entrance or the drop off over to the west side?
Mhm.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
I am super excited about that.
We've been very fortunate that I don't know of any injuries that have ever occurred, but the amount of people crossing that on the east-west highway when the sun's in your eyes, it's a hazard.
It's a hazard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm glad they have a crossing guard out there.
Yep.
I know that was informed several years ago, but prior, it was a concern. I mean, it is a bottleneck at the drop-off and pickup times. And I agree, so many of our small communities are really bisected by that highway. But I've watched, semis going full force and they have not slowed down, and it is an accident waiting to happen. I really thought that was clever. Agree to have that drop-off and pickup on the west side.
And it almost looks like it's kind of like a drive-through on there. On this picture, I guess I don't have that picture with me right now, but it looked like it could just
Maybe there'd still be a parking area over there, but there would be a curved approach to drop off right at the front of school, and then you could loop back out.
Because even though, like you mentioned the crossing guard, just because it's there doesn't mean all the kids.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of times there'll be, a kid that, I'll just cut across from behind. It's like, buddy, why did you jump behind some car?
Yes.
From a driver's perspective,
Not everybody
if the
sees
sun's
it.
in my eye and I didn't
Yes.
see a little kid,
Yes.
I'm still not going to see the crossing guard.
Yes.
But I mean, those cross guard, we had my right left and went by, and
Yeah.
they take off and go, and your kid just flies across the other end, and it's like, no one's gonna see it.
Yes.
So give them completely out, so there's,
Yeah.
no one can have that problem.
Yep.
It'll only take once for something bad to happen. There'd be no reason for it. So
Yeah.
get out of there.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time that we have today. I'd like to thank you guys all for joining us. And again, the bond is going to be, the mail-in is on May 13th. So again, this is going to be a mail-in bond, and it comes out, I believe, on the April 21st is mailed out. So anyway, thank you for joining us. And again, this is for the Hemingford Legacy